Welcome to Revenge Chronicles. Whether you're a long-time viewer or discovering our stories for the first time, you're about to witness something extraordinary. Today's tale involves a family secret so massive it destroyed an empire in 48 hours. But the most shocking part? The victim had been living under their roof for 3 years. My fingers went numb as I stared at the legal documents Veronica had just placed beside my coffee, the papers seeming to blur and sharpen in waves. The morning sunlight streaming through our kitchen windows suddenly felt like interrogation lighting as I read the header, Share Transfer Agreement Next-Gen Solutions. The taste of copper filled my mouth as the magnitude hit me. They wanted me to sign away $75 million to my stepbrother, who couldn't even spell equity correctly in his last email. My name is Elena, I'm 28, and this is the story of how I made them finally see me. For 3 years, I'd lived as a ghost in Marcus's reconstructed family. Every month, $8,500 disappeared from my account into their household expenses, 70% of everything I earned while I was treated like an unwelcome guest. The pool maintenance they enjoyed each weekend? My money. Bradley's BMW sitting in our driveway? My money. The master bedroom renovation where Veronica held her wine nights? All funded by the daughter they barely acknowledged. Elena handles some IT tasks, Marcus would tell his business associates, never mentioning that I'd single-handedly saved his construction company from bankruptcy. While I worked 18-hour days modernizing their digital infrastructure, writing technical specifications that won them a $2 million government contract, Marcus raised champagne glasses to Bradley's vision and leadership. The truth was devastating in its simplicity. I was worth more than my father could imagine, but he'd never bothered to ask what I actually did. My little computer job, as Marcus called it, was actually co-founding Next-Gen Solutions with my Stanford mentor, James Morrison. The consulting work I did on weekends? Building a platform that would revolutionize construction technology. The reserved parking spot in the financial district? My actual office, 20 floors above Elliott Bay, with my name on the door. They thought I was playing video games. I was building a company worth $500 million. The breaking point started with Bradley's $2 million disaster, impossible delivery dates promised to Harrison Development while he vacationed in Cabo. When the client threatened to sue, guess who got blamed? This is your fault, Elena, Marcus announced at dinner. You should have been supervising him. The irony burned. Harrison Development had sent a glowing email specifically requesting to work with me personally, praising my exceptional problem-solving and professional integrity. When I forwarded it to Marcus, Veronica appeared at my door within 20 minutes. Delete that email, she said simply. Bradley needs this win for his resume. I watched her leave, then forwarded the email to my personal account and my lawyer with a simple note, document number 1. What my family didn't know was that NextGen was 6 months from a $500 million IPO. As CTO and co-founder, my 15% stake would be worth $75 million. But more importantly, Marcus was about to stake his entire company on a deal with Meridian Holdings, never knowing that Meridian's contract specifically required NextGen's involvement. Clause 7.3, buried on page 47. Technical infrastructure must be provided exclusively by Next-Gen Solutions with implementation overseen by their CTO. I'd helped write that clause 2 years ago. Now it would determine my father's fate. Tuesday morning's ambush was orchestrated with surgical precision. Veronica placed the share transfer documents next to my coffee while Marcus watched from behind his newspaper. Bradley's starting his investment portfolio, she announced. Family helps family, remember? I scanned the papers, my stomach dropping. These were my next-gen shares, worth $75 million after the IPO, packaged for transfer to my stepbrother who'd never worked a day in his life. I need to review these with my attorney, I said carefully. Think? What's there to think about? Veronica's voice sharpened. Unless you don't trust your own family? Marcus folded his newspaper, his expression darkening. Sign it, Elena. By my birthday party this weekend, or we'll reconsider your place in this family. The threat hung in the air like smoke. Your place in this family. As if I'd ever had one. I understand, I said, sliding the papers into my bag. I'll give you my answer at your party. That evening, I drove to a coffee shop 3 blocks away to ensure privacy before calling my lawyer Sarah Coleman from my car. These documents are problematic, Sarah said after I emailed her photos of the papers. This could be considered fraudulent misrepresentation. They are valuing NextGen at $2 million when it's worth nearly $500 million. Can I refuse without consequences? You can absolutely refuse. But Elena, I pulled the Meridian Holdings contract your father's pursuing. Did you know there's a technical requirement clause involving NextGen? Clause 7.3. This changes everything. Your father needs your signature more than he realizes. Document everything, especially at that birthday party. When they publicly humiliate you and then discover they need your cooperation, the tables turn completely. Friday afternoon brought an emergency family meeting disguised as an intervention. The dining room was packed with relatives I barely knew, all summoned to witness my correction. We are here because we love Elena, Marcus began, his voice thick with false concern. But she's showing troubling behavior, selfishness, greed, refusing to help her brother succeed. Uncle Tom shook his head. Elena, your mother would be ashamed. She always shared everything she had. The weaponization of my dead mother's memory landed exactly where he'd aimed it. But I was done being manipulated by ghosts and guilt. Tomorrow's party will have 45 of Seattle's most influential people, Marcus continued. Do you really want to be publicly revealed as the daughter who betrayed her family? You have until tomorrow night, he concluded. Sign the papers in front of everyone, or I'll announce that you're no longer my daughter. The ultimatum hung between us like a blade. I stood slowly, my voice steady despite the rage burning in my chest. Tomorrow night, everyone will know exactly where I stand. Saturday morning, I overheard the conversation that sealed their fate. Marcus was on speakerphone in his study with his brother Tom, boasting about the Meridian deal. $50 million, Tom. Biggest deal in company history. We sign Monday at the Four Seasons. You sure everything's lined up? Everything's perfect. Even got their technical requirements sorted. Some startup called NextGen, but my guy knows someone there. I froze in the hallway outside his study. His guy knew someone. Marcus had no idea that someone was standing 10 feet away. The signing ceremony will be huge, Marcus continued. 200 guests, full media coverage. This deal makes us real players. Through the cracked door, I could see the contract on his desk, the same one where Clause 7.3 clearly stated NextGen's exclusive requirement. If only he'd read the email signature on every communication from James Morrison, CC, Elena Young, CTO NextGen Solutions. Later that afternoon, the party sparkled with desperate elegance, 45 of Seattle's business elite mingling in our living room, champagne flowing, conversations growing louder. Everyone attention. Marcus clinked his glass. I want to introduce the future of young construction, my son Bradley. Bradley stumbled forward, already drunk, wearing a suit that cost more than most people's monthly rent. My money, naturally. What about Elena? Mrs. Henderson asked. Isn't she in the business too? Marcus's laugh was dismissive. Oh, Elena helps with administrative tasks, basic IT support. She's reliable in her small way. Veronica stepped forward, draped in diamonds I'd inadvertently funded. Speaking of family business, we have an announcement about family unity. Elena, sweetheart, would you come up here? Every eye turned to me as I walked forward, my phone recording in my pocket. As you all know, family is everything to the Youngs, Veronica continued. That's why we are so proud that Elena has agreed to help launch Bradley's investment career. I haven't agreed to anything, I said clearly. The room went quiet. Veronica's smile flickered but held. Don't be shy, dear. Tell everyone how you're transferring your shares to help your brother. I'm not transferring anything. Marcus's face flushed red. Elena, we discussed this. You demanded it. There's a difference. I turned to face the crowd. This is embarrassing, being pressured to give away $75 million in shares to someone who's never worked a day in his life. How dare you? Veronica stepped forward. After everything we've done for you? You mean after I paid 70% of household expenses? After I saved Marcus's company from bankruptcy while Bradley got the credit? The room was dead silent. Marcus's business associates watched with the fascination of people witnessing a spectacular crash. You're being dramatic, Marcus said, his go-to dismissal. No, I'm being factual. And I'm done being erased in my own family. Marcus stood, his chair scraping against the floor like a judge's gavel. Elena Young, his voice boomed across the room, "you are grounded until you apologize to your stepmother." For a moment, nobody moved. Then someone giggled. Soon, uncomfortable laughter rippled through the room. Did he just ground a 28-year-old? Mr. Walker whispered, incredulous. Marcus doubled down, his face purple with rage. "You have two choices. Sign those papers and apologize to Veronica right now, or you're no longer my daughter." 45 of Seattle's elite watched as Marcus Young publicly disowned his only biological child over money she'd earned herself. I looked around the room slowly, memorizing their faces, the shock, the barely concealed excitement at witnessing such spectacular drama. "All right," I said simply. "I'm accepting his terms. I'm grounded." I set down my champagne glass. "And since I'm grounded, I should go to my room." "Don't you dare walk away from me," Marcus shouted. But I was already walking, my footsteps steady on the marble floor his construction company had installed with my money. Behind me, the party exploded into whispers. The last thing I heard was Marcus saying, "She'll be back down in an hour," begging to sign. I didn't go to my room. I walked straight to my car in the driveway, where my suitcases were already packed and waiting in the trunk. Everything I valued from 28 years in that house fit in a Honda Civic. Before leaving, I slipped back inside through the kitchen door long enough to place my house key on the counter beside a note I'd prepared. "I respect your decision, Dad. This is mine." By Sunday morning, my phone had exploded with 43 missed calls from Marcus. I didn't answer any of them from my downtown hotel room. But it was the 20th voicemail message that made me smile. "Mr. Morrison from Meridian called about tomorrow's signing. He asked if you'd be there." Why would he ask that? "Elena, what did you do?" Monday, November 15th, 3 p.m. Four Seasons Hotel, Emerald Ballroom. The space was spectacular, 200 chairs arranged theater-style facing a raised platform where the $50 million signing would take place. Cameras positioned strategically, a live stream already active for remote investors. Marcus arrived early, working the room like a politician. This was his moment of validation, his proof that Young Construction had made it to the big leagues. $50 million, I heard him tell the Hendersons. Largest construction deal in Seattle this year. James Morrison entered with his legal team at exactly 3 p.m., commanding attention without trying. When they moved to the platform, Marcus took his position at the signing table, pen in hand, cameras flashing. "Ladies and gentlemen," James addressed the crowd, "thank you for witnessing this historic partnership. This $50 million project will reshape Seattle's skyline through our exclusive partnership with NextGen Solutions." Marcus nodded enthusiastically, having no idea what that actually meant. The lawyers presented the contracts. Marcus signed the first two copies with a flourish, reaching for the third when Patricia Coleman, Meridian's head lawyer, held up her hand. "We need to verify Clause 7.3 compliance first. The NextGen Solutions exclusive agreement, we need their CTO's signature before this contract is valid." The room murmured. Marcus's smile faltered. "That's just a formality. My people have been in touch with their people." "It's not a formality," Patricia said firmly. "Without Elena Young's signature, this contract is void." Every head in the room turned toward Marcus. 200 of Seattle's most influential people watched his confusion transform into horror. "There must be some mistake," Marcus stammered. "Elena is my daughter. She works in IT support." The ballroom doors opened at 3:15 p.m. I walked in wearing my best power suit, my level 5 CTO security badge hanging visibly from my lapel. Every step was measured, confident, the walk of someone who belonged in rooms like this. "Good afternoon, Mr. Morrison," I said, shaking James's hand. "Sorry I'm late." "Elena." Marcus's voice was barely a whisper. I turned to face my father, the man who'd grounded me 48 hours ago for refusing to give away my shares. "Hello, Dad. I heard you need my signature." The room erupted in whispers as I placed my business card on the signing table. "Elena Young, co-founder and AMP, CTO, NextGen Solutions." "But you said you worked in IT support," Bradley blurted from the audience. "No," I corrected. "Dad said I worked in IT support. He never asked what I actually did." I pulled out the notarized exclusive agreement from my briefcase. "This is the contract between NextGen and Meridian, signed 2 years ago. I'm the only person authorized to approve our involvement in Meridian projects." Marcus stared at the document, then at me, then back at the document. His $50 million deal, his moment of triumph, his entire future, all of it depended on the daughter he'd just publicly humiliated and disowned. I laid out the evidence like playing cards: my CTO badge, incorporation documents showing my co-founder status, the exclusive Meridian agreement requiring my personal approval, email threads discussing Marcus's project requirements. "This can't be real," Marcus muttered. "Your daughter is one of Seattle's most successful CTOs," Patricia confirmed. "NextGen's platform is why Meridian chose your company in the first place." Someone in the crowd gasped as the story spread. Marcus Young had grounded his adult daughter for refusing to give away shares in a company worth $500 million. "Please," Marcus said quietly, his pride crumbling before 200 witnesses. "Elena, please sign the contract." "Why would I do that?" I asked. "According to you Saturday night, I'm grounded until I apologize for keeping what I earned." He never asked what I actually did. I pulled out the notarized exclusive agreement from my briefcase. "This is the contract between NextGen and Meridian, signed 2 years ago. I'm the only person authorized to approve our involvement in Meridian projects." Marcus stared at the document, then at me, then back at the document. His $50 million deal, his moment of triumph, his entire future, all of it depended on the daughter he'd just publicly humiliated and disowned. "According to you, I'm not even your daughter anymore." The cameras were still rolling. The live stream was still active. Thousands of investors were watching Marcus Young beg the daughter he'd discarded. "You're destroying me," Marcus whispered. "No, Dad. You destroyed us the moment you chose your new family over your daughter. I'm just declining a business opportunity." I walked toward the exit, my heels clicking on marble. At the door, I turned back one final time. "Business is built on trust, Dad. You broke mine." The aftermath was immediate and brutal. James Morrison announced the deal's termination to the stunned room. The live stream chat exploded with comments about the family drama. Within minutes, Young Construction's stock began its death spiral. "You can't do this," Veronica shrieked from somewhere in the crowd. "Your stepdaughter's signature is worth $50 million to you," James replied coldly. "Perhaps you should have valued her accordingly." By Tuesday morning, the execution was complete. The Seattle Business Journal headline read, "Young Construction loses $50 million deal after CEO fails to recognize daughter's tech empire." Marcus was out as CEO within 48 hours. The board's confidence vote 12-2 against. Veronica filed for divorce on Friday, citing irreconcilable differences and demanding half of Marcus's remaining assets. Bradley's job offer at a competing firm was rescinded after they saw the live stream footage. The family who'd witnessed my humiliation scattered like roaches when the lights turned on. 6 months later, NextGen's IPO valued the company at $2 billion. My stake, $300 million. The same week, I launched the Young Women in Tech Foundation, using my last name to reclaim it from the man who tried to disown me. The coffee shop encounter happened 7 months after the birthday party that ended everything. I was working on my laptop at a downtown cafe when Marcus appeared at my table, 20 pounds thinner, completely grey, his expensive suits replaced by simple clothes. "You have 10 minutes, I said, gesturing to the chair across from me. "I finally see you," he said, his voice cracking. I had a brilliant, successful daughter right in front of me, and I was too blind to see it. I closed my laptop and checked my watch. "Your 10 minutes are up." He started to stand, then stopped. "Could we maybe try again?" I gave him my full attention for the first time in months. "Under certain conditions. Therapy, individual and family. No business together, ever. You acknowledge what happened publicly if asked. Respect is non-negotiable. We start with coffee once a month, public places only. I accept all of it. Next month, first Tuesday, same place, same time. Don't be late." As I reached the door, he called out, "What you built, NextGen, it's extraordinary." "I know," I replied simply. "I always was. You just finally noticed." Looking back, being grounded at 28 was the greatest gift my father ever gave me, though not how he intended. That humiliation freed me from the exhausting performance of being less than I was. Success is the best revenge, not because it hurts those who hurt you, but because it proves they were wrong about your worth. Every milestone Next Gen achieved was evidence that their dismissal was their failure, not mine. Your value doesn't depend on their validation. It's okay to choose yourself. You don't owe anyone access to your success, especially those who doubted you'd achieve it. My name is Elena Young. I kept the last name, not for the man who tried to disown me, but to remind myself that I can transform any legacy into power. Family isn't always forever, but self-respect is non-negotiable.